There is one last tank there, and a group of tanks down to the south, and a couple of vultures have come out, and they are going to be able to harass this natural expansion. A couple of those siege tanks from Lita have moved down, and really is going to be able to probably clean all of this up with his reinforcement troops that he had in the south. But still a pretty nice play there by Lita, killing a lot of units. I don't know if he was able to get those vultures all the way in to actually kill some SCVs that were on the line, but with a much smaller force was able to clear out, well, I don't know if it was much smaller than the units that he killed. He was able to take out quite a few units. Now those vultures are going to be moving into that newest expansion, laying down mines as he goes, and those SCVs are taking heavy casualties, a lot, probably 8 SCVs have already gone down. Spider mines have been planted, one's going to come up, just being able to take those out with those tanks, but those vultures have done a ton of damage. Definitely a positive economic harassment there done by Lita. What I mean is he did more harassment than he lost in terms of units. And Lita has put himself in a nice position. He's put up his third base as well, I believe. Oh, I guess not. I thought that there was a blob of red that was an expansion, but that was actually just spider mines, I guess, over in the 5 o'clock position. So Lita is still only on 2 bases, while really has that third base, and it's been up for a little while. Of course, all of those SCVs did get taken out pretty handily just a minute ago, and another drop going in the main base of Really, and just a couple of vultures, and there is a Goliath in there to defend it, but there are going to be mines laid all around. Looks like that spider mine does kill a couple of those SCVs, a couple of the gas SCVs taken out with that spider mine, but not a terribly great amount of damage done. But still pretty decent job of harassment, and he's still got that vulture in there that is probably not going to do anything else, but finally really going in for a counter drop. So finally looking to do a little bit of damage of his own, drops 4 Goliaths in, and Lita has nothing here to defend this in his main base. So the three gas SCVs have already gone down. A couple of reinforcement tanks will be able to clear this up along with the Goliath, but actually the dropship picks up those Goliaths and really is able to escape without losing that attack force. So very nice drop there by him. Lita has been doing some pretty good drops of his own, but once again, since he's down 1 base, he is in a little bit weaker position. And now it's just going to be coming down to who can expand faster and farther, because both players about even in terms of army and in terms of dropships. Really is going to be able to build army a little bit quicker just because he is on 3 bases already. I think Lita is positioning himself to try to take the southeast expansion. Yeah, that's already being built. Some reinforcements going over in that direction, unless that is going to be a drop. I think that might be a drop, but it looks like it got spotted out by a spider mine that was left in the field from Really. And both players with dropship forces flirting around each other, but probably not going to be able to do anything too big. It looks like, on the one hand, though, Really has upgraded his Goliath, so he has Charon boosters, but Lita does not. However, Lita is going to be able to snipe down this science facility, which is pretty good for him. That's a decent investment, and it's also going to maybe slow down upgrades. I don't think you lose any upgrades if he's already started it, but it might delay him if he hasn't started the further upgrades on his ground units. It looks like he is at 1 attack on his ground units. I'm not sure where Lita is at the moment, but regardless, losing science facility is not too terrible, but every building you kill is always good. However, during this time, Really has been able to build up a pretty sizable tank force, so he's going to be able to defend himself very well at the 3 bases that he's got. The question is, will he be able to get enough dropships and enough other forces to defend any new bases that he sets up? Lita's 3rd base is almost definitely built by now. I don't think that he has any SCV saturation, but those will be coming shortly. So he will be evening up the economy, but really has already built a pretty sizable economy and a pretty big economic lead, just because he's had that 3rd base for so much longer. So despite Lita going for the fast expansion, you know, really has been able to come out a little bit better because he went for a fast second expansion. Lita also positioning, it looks like he's building some turrets around and going to try to take that 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, he's also going for a drop over in the main base all the way behind the mineral line. It looks like he killed every single one of those SCVs, and he might even be able to focus fire down on the command center if he chooses to do so. A couple more SCVs getting killed in the fire, a couple of supply depots really coming in with his dropships, trying to drop some Goliath bombs. It looks like one of them does land, except he loses 2 dropships in that force. 2 tanks still there, actually 3 tanks. They're kind of hidden by that banner, and then finally those tanks are cleared up, but a lot of losses from Really right there, losing all of his SCVs and almost the same amount of forces just because you know, he lost 2 dropships, and those forces were positioned really well behind that mineral line. It looks like Lita is setting up for another expansion, as he is also placing down a, geez, it's hard to count his command centers at the moment just because he's been trying to expand at a lot of different places. But he has got one base going up right there at the 3 o'clock position, probably another base going down at the 9 o'clock position, and if he's able to hold even just one of them for a little while, he will be in a huge economic lead, and this is starting to become reminiscent of his other 2 Terran versus Terran wins that happened recently, where I believe they were both on this map. Maybe they were on Fighting Spirit. I think it was on Fighting Spirit, not Tornado, but kind of similar maps in terms of being able to defend the natural expansion pretty easily. But on Fighting Spirit, you got a little bit of a base advantage and worked that for a little while, and then transitioned into mass wraiths in the late game, like really mass wraiths, like at least 50 wraiths out at a time, you know, like 4 and 5 control groups worth of wraiths that he was going around and doing whatever he felt like with, using them like a Zerg would use Zerglings. Really positioning himself to try to not get himself in that posturing to not get himself in that position by going in to try to attack this 3 o'clock expansion from Lita. He is sieging just outside, and I think Lita, I don't know if he's going to use this opportunity to wipe out those forces, or if he's going to use it to go in for another drop. Yeah, he's going to be dropping directly on top of those units to try to clear them out and keep that 3 o'clock base defended for a little while, and he's able to take out those siege tanks and the Goliaths very quickly. So Lita, with a big win right there, really sieging up on the high ground just above that. He might be able to take out the forces from Lita, but Lita has just too many numbers right now, and even his low ground siege tanks are going to be able to do a good amount of damage uphill. It looks like all of his Goliaths did finally get taken out, but I think he was able to wipe out all of those forces. Maybe a couple of them picked up in those dropships I didn't see. But Lita now, with that 3 o'clock base running, with the 4 o'clock base running, and the 5 o'clock base running, and the 6 o'clock base running, that's his natural expansion. Also Lita, with all of those turrets that he built to possibly take this base over in the northwest, doing a little bit of damage as Really tries to take it, but it looks like he will be able to float that command center in. Lita definitely knows about it, and he knows how many forces are there because of those missile turrets that were hanging around, and he's going to be picking up some more forces and trying to stop this as it's being set up. It looks like just about 5 Goliaths there in defense, and Lita is sending in a full dropship force to try to take that out, and actually Really has left that base with all of his dropship forces, so these forces of that Really left are going to be taking out very fast. Really trying to counter drop to defend this for a little while, but I don't know if he has the forces to do it. Lita was already sieged up when those forces were dropped from Really, and he's still got 2 siege tanks in there attacking those dropped forces. Yeah, oh, he's got way more than 2 tanks. He's got a whole slew of them back there. I didn't know how many he had exactly, but a lot of tanks there are going to deny that expansion, and Lita has now gained himself a huge economic lead. He is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 expansions. I'm not entirely sure. Still just 3 bases from Really, and Really going in for a drop on some of those bases at the in the northeast, but not able to do enough damage, and he is out of money. That is GG. Lita wins the ace match and finally gets Sparkyz a win in round 2. So Sparkyz are 2-0 against eSTRO, and they have decided, especially that man Lita, winning 2 games, beating really twice in this series, decided that you know, Sparkyz really is better than eSTRO, and they ought to be ahead in the rankings as well. So now Lita doing something funny with some ring that he has for no apparent reason really is devastated. And actually, these two men's records are pretty similar after this. At the beginning of all of this, let me take a look. At the beginning of this series, Lita was at 7-6 and really was at a pretty good 10-4. At the end of this, Lita is now 9-6 and really is at 10-6, so almost the same record after just one match. And you know, Lita doing a good job. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up and try to keep this under 2 parts. But thank you for watching. Up next, I believe, is going to be against Hwasung Oz. There's also a match against KT Rolster soon, so hopefully I'll see you for that. Thanks for watching again. Bye.